back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to share with you how I contour and highlight. Now, I want to start off by saying that I am not a pro makeup artist. I have taken courses on the side and I've done a little bit of freelancing, but I haven't done it in a few years. So this is just how I contour. This is what I'm comfortable with. So I hope that you guys find this video helpful. I'm also going to be using the KVD Shade&Light palette. I've been reaching for this ever since I got it. I'm not going to be comparing it to other palettes just because I feel like there's a lot of videos on YouTube that are already comparing it to the Anastasia and the Smashbox palette, which I do own both of them and I love both of them for different reasons. I see myself reaching for this one maybe a little bit more for the summertime and for other reasons in itself. Okay, so what I'll do first is just go through the demo with you and I'm going to share with you guys how I contour. Like for me, when I'm doing a contour, I want something that looks very natural. I like to contour with something that is a bit more on the grayish side. Cool tones, those are the colors that I use to actually contour and sculpt out my face, just to kind of trick the eye into the illusion of maybe some cheekbones, a slimmer nose or a smaller nose, and even around the forehead. I mean, my forehead's not too bad, but you can create illusion of a smaller forehead, things like that. That is what contouring is about, but it should look very natural at the same time, and that is what I try to achieve when I do my contouring. So I'm just going to go on with the demo, and then I'm going to share with you guys my thoughts on this palette. So let's just get started. Okay, so I have my foundation on, I did my eyebrows, and I primed my eyes as well. And that is all that I did. I did not use anything under my eyes yet or powder to set this. Okay, so let's start off with concealer, and I've been using the Maybelline Master Conceal lately and I really like it. It reminds me of the MAC Pro Longwear. I'm in the shade Light. I think I picked up Light. Yeah, 20 Light. So I just take a little bit, about that much, and then I'm just gonna put some dots there like that. And I just like to pack it in, spread it out a little bit with my fingers. And I'm just going to take a little bit more and I'm just going to go down the center of my face, just the points where I do want to highlight. So I'm going to go a little bit down my nose and a little bit in here, but I don't want to add too much. I do crease a lot there, so and a little bit right there and around the chin. To blend out the concealer, I've been enjoying the Beauty Blender, and this one's by Quo, and this is amazing. I think I like it even better than the other Beauty Blender. It is just, I don't know, it's something about it. Maybe I'll do a video comparison with the two. So that's what I'm going to use to blend out. This thing was only $5. So if you're from Canada, give Quo a try. Because $5, you can't beat it. Okay, so I'm just gonna apply that, do the other side. So you can see this concealer really does just brighten and just makes my under eyes look really flawless, in my opinion. So it is comparable to the MAC Pro Longwear. I feel like this one may set just a little bit faster. So keep that in mind. That's why I like to use the dampened Beauty Blender, because that will actually help. You could even use Max Fix Plus if you want to. To set my under eyes, I'm actually going to use the Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Powder. I like to use something that's very, very fine underneath the eyes. I'll show you what I'm going to do with the contour palette. So this is just really does a great job of brightening, but it's very, very thin when it goes on. So this is like my holy grail product. I had this in my Best in Beauty. This is my second purchase of this, and it will last me like a year. Okay, now I'm going to go in with the lightest shade of the palette, and that's what I'm going to use to just highlight around my face. So I like to take a little bit of this, just remember to tap it off, and I'm going to place it just above the cheekbone because that's where I want to highlight, and I like to just pat this in and then start to smooth it out. So pat and then smooth. So I'm going to go in a little bit more and then smooth, pat and smooth. So you can see where it definitely looks brighter. And then I'm also going to bring it just around, just slightly above the eyebrow. And then we are going to go down a little bit up here, and then down the nose. And I also like to put my highlight just right under here. This is actually going to help make your contour pop and stand out a little bit more. Okay, so that is it for highlight. Now I'm going to go in and start bronzing up my face. I like to do that before I contour. So I'm going to go in with the Sephora Pro Airbrush number 55. I really like this for bronzer. It just makes my skin look very airbrushed. So I'm actually going to go in with the middle shade right there, and that is more of your neutral color. So when I'm bronzing up the face, I still like to place it where my contour is actually going to go. So I'm going to start about right here and just start bronzing it up. So you can see it just looks really natural. These powders just blend so nicely. I'm in love with them. Okay, and same thing. One thing that I like about this brush is that your bronzer will never look muddy. It just goes on really nice and smooth, and it doesn't look patchy. But a lot of it has to do with this powder too. I found these powders are very easy to blend. And we're gonna go up just on the temples here. Now, I like to think that I do have a little bit of a longer forehead, so whatever is left over on my brush, I do take it just slightly above there. I don't go too far down because I don't really have a really big forehead, but I still like to kind of connect it. Just looks more finished. And then I'm just gonna go a little bit around my nose. And I also like to just bring it down my neck. Especially right now, I'm so pasty white. Okay, so I'm going to tell you guys right now, I have used this cooler shade to actually contour and just add a shadow, which is really nice, especially if you're like lighter skin. I think you will like this color. I'm medium skin tone and it still works for me, but today I'm actually going to go in with the dark shade, and it actually works for me. Like, you look at it, it looks pretty dark, but when it's on the face, it doesn't look muddy. It almost leaves a really pretty shadow, but like a dark shadow. So I don't know, it's really pretty. So I'm gonna go in with that color, and this is just a Real Techniques contour brush. So what I like to do is just start right above where my ear starts. I don't like to go like right through here because I want my cheekbones to appear, I want it to look like I have some cheekbones. So I'm going to start just right above the ear, and I'm only going to go like halfway. So basically I like to stop right where my brow ends, and that is where I stop my contour. I mean, if you really want to just sculpt out your cheeks, you could just slightly just bring it up like that, and that will give you the illusion of uplifted cheekbones. So, and when I do put this on, I do like to just kind of look down a little bit too at the same time. And that is what the darker shade looks. To me, it looks very natural. So I'm really surprised with that color. I have used the Balms. The Balm has one that's very similar, and it's a bit more grayish. That one can tend to look a little bit muddy on me, but this one definitely works for me, and you can see. And I'm medium skin tone right now. Okay. Again, so I'm just starting on the top of where my ear starts, and I'm bringing it halfway to where my brow actually ends. And then you're going to look down. And then you can see it just creates a really nice, pretty shadow. And then what I like to do is go back in with my Sephora brush, and I'm just gonna kind of blend out those harsh lines with no extra product. I don't like to add a really strong contour on my nose, just something that looks very, very natural. So I am going to go in with the cooler shade in the palette, and I'm going to go in with a little stippling brush by Sonia Kashuk. I think this is the part of the eye. I don't know what it's called. Anyways, that's what I'm going to use. And I'm just going to go down the bridge of the nose. So I don't want to go too heavy. So you can see, for me, I already kind of put it on a little bit too heavy, so I'm going to really start to blend that out. And because I have like a longer nose, I do like to bring my contour just the same shade. I'm just going to add a little bit just underneath my lip. This will just create, it will make your lips appear bigger. So just under there, just slightly a little bit. And that is it. I'm going to go back in with the Sephora brush. I'm just going to blend that out a little bit. So that is it for contouring my face. This is pretty much what I do when I do some contouring. I do not do this every day. I only do this for like a special occasion, or if I'm going out somewhere. To do this every day, it just takes up too much of my time. So yeah, this is what it looks like. I like it. It looks really natural, and this is the contour that I usually go for. Okay, so I hope that you guys found that somewhat helpful. I know if you're a beginner, it can be a little bit frustrating, but really contouring is just, it takes practice. The more you do it, the better you're gonna get at it. I find too that, you know, use a little bit at a time. Like experiment with different shades, different colors. But if I were to tell you guys two things, if you are going to bronze the face, use something that is more neutral, a little bit more on the warm side. Whatever you're going to use to contour, make sure it has some gray undertones to it, or a cooler tone, just to create that natural shadow. So that is pretty much it. Now I'm going to just share with you this palette. Do I think this palette is worth getting? Yes, I really like it. I like it because you do have the cool tones, you have the warm tones, and the neutral tones in here, which complements, in my opinion, a lot of skin tones. A lot of contour palettes don't have a really dark contour shade. At first, I'm going to be honest, I didn't think that I was going to be able to use this. I thought it would look really, really muddy on me, but I actually like contouring with this better than the cooler shade. With that being said, if you are somebody that is fair to light, even medium skin tone can get away with contouring with this cooler shade because it is on the grayer side. This shade, to me, is perfect to bronze up the face. It's not too orange, it's not too brown, it's a nice neutral color. So that's what I like about it. And this dark one, I mean, you guys can see, I did go very light hand with it, but I even picked up a lot of product and I didn't seem like it was really, it didn't like slap it on where I had to really blend the color out. So I mean, I think it looks really natural. I just really enjoy this palette. Now as for the highlighting shades, I feel like this one has a bit of, it says it's matte, but I feel like it has a bit of like a sheen to it. So it does a really great job of brightening. This yellow one, it might be just a tad bit yellow for me. But what I will use it for is to maybe just mix. Sometimes I like to mix a yellow tone with a lighter tone together. I even do that with my Anastasia palette. And this shade here, I have not experimented with it yet, so I couldn't tell you, and I don't know what I'm going to use that for. And I don't know how that's going to turn out on my skin. But I will experiment, and maybe I will keep you guys updated on like a weekly blushing up sessions or something like that. As for the powders, I think they perform really nicely. It does pick up a little bit of powder on your brush, but there's absolutely like no like fallout. Like it just blends onto the skin really nicely, almost like her blushes. Like if you ever tried her blushes, they're really powdery, but they go on really nicely and nicely pigmented. So I mean, with that said, I just really like these powders, and again, this is good for all skin tones. I think a lot of people will really enjoy this only because it has the cool, the neutral, and the warm shades in here, and it does have the dark shade that's in the palette. Let me do some swatches for you on it. Okay, so here are the colors swatch. You have the top row here, which is your warmer shade in the palette, but it does have some coolness to it as well. The middle shade is your neutral color, which is what I use to warm up my face, and then you have your cooler tone shade, which you can also use to contour, which I have done, and I really, really like it. So those are the swatches. Here, let me swatch the light ones on my hand. So here's the lightest shade in the palette. These are actually really pigmented. They apply nicer on a brush because they kind of look almost, well, they're not powdery, but they're really soft. These powders are really soft. So there's those colors right there. Overall, I think this is a great palette. I love the packaging. I love the way the powders perform, and I really enjoy the colors in here. So I do recommend this to anybody, all skin tones, and it's just great. I went into Sephora, and Sephora has their new contouring palette out too, the really big round compact. I don't know if you guys seen it. And I was gonna pick that one up, but then I asked the lady at the front if she had this, and she grabbed one for me in the back. And I'm really happy that she did, because the one at Sephora, it swatched really nice and the colors were really nice too. I didn't like the fact that all the colors were together, they weren't separated, and that's what I like about this. It has their own slot in here. So that is another reason why I chose this over the Sephora one, but I've heard really great things about the Sephora one as well. My friend Bonnie just did a review on that palette, so I will leave her channel and that video linked down below. You guys gotta go check her out. She's my girl. I just love her and her channel. So before I go, I thought I would just share with you what I'm wearing on my cheeks today and my lips. If this is something that you guys want me to do at the end of the video, please let me know in the comments down below. I was actually thinking about doing something like that, but the blush that I'm wearing today is the Liz Watte Blush in Beige Desert. It's just a really pretty neutral warm shade. It almost reminds me of Songbird by Becca. So that is what I'm wearing today, and I really, really like it. And what I have on my lips is the Viva Glam Miley Cyrus lipstick. And let me tell you guys, I'm in love with this color. I love it. I just reach a lot for these colors in the summertime, so I'm really happy that I have this. And that is it. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Please give me a thumbs up if you did. That helps me out a lot. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.